This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going with the outside of both of them. Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to him.
Oh my God! Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Racely to the inside goes Logan Clapman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Tronke goes off. De Jong into second place.
I'm going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I trying this contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Makashube, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
It's a track which everybody knows in terms of Formula One styles of racing. It's a track which is one of 2 this season, and one of 2, it is going the full race distance, 100% length. It is a full 70 laps here today, and we find ourselves on the American Peninsula for what will be some fantastic action here today. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve needs no introduction for just how amazing of a circuit it is. And we are here, of course, on SimSpeed TV, live and uninterrupted. It's Jake Sperry, joined alongside by Cameron Dance here for your iRacing Grand Prix Series action, as qualifying is currently underway. 8 minutes or 2 laps around this place. And, well, Cam, we have to talk about this because this is heading to the middle part of the season now. Round 4 of the championship. This will mark the end of the opening third. And now you start thinking of, okay, where do you start making big performances count?
Yes, certainly. It's going to really start to heat things up in the championship with the fact that drop week's going to start to play a factor in really is going to spice things up. We've seen plenty of big pace from big drivers, and yeah, it's going to be no difference here. A lot longer race, so patience and also making sure you don't put it in that concrete or arm coat is going to be very important, because it's so easy to just push the limit slightly too much here and end up in that wall.
And we've already seen it from Mark Usher in qualifying. He went to go out and set the first lap. He went through the final chicane, the Wall of Champions chicane, which is the prime overtaking opportunity cam. And on his first attempt to try and start a flying lap, he made a big hash of it, and he's just clipped the wall there ever so slightly coming out of the Wall of Champions. He's got to be careful. In fact, he pulls up again before the start-finish line and won't set a time. Danilo Sanfilippo quickest, Andreas Nielsen there in second, 3/10 back. So that's a really big telling in terms of the way this is going to be done. Only perfection is wanted here by Mark Usher, and he can't afford to do it too many times. He's only got 8 minutes.
Yeah, certainly. You're not going to want to make a mistake here, and passing's not that easy either with the fact that there's many chicanes. So, yeah, really got to make sure you qualify well. And looking at it, Jan Hoffman's also put himself P3, so really good performance so far from a lot of drivers, and really some big moves and shakers.
And those big movers and shakers are going to be key, the way this is going to be going even. Here's Stefan Piotrowski trying to make a push to the line at the moment as Marco Sanfilippo leads his brother 1:14.7. Across the line goes Piotrowski. He does a 1:16.2. He goes 10th then in terms of his times. The number 21 machine having a good run of things. Juanmi Costa, though, jumps to third on a 1:15.2. Jose Serpa goes fifth.
Yeah, so everybody's starting to set a representative time now. Not a lot long left in the session either, just a handful of minutes. And I believe Mark Usher is yet to still set a lap. He's just starting his first flying lap now, so we'll see what sort of time he can possibly do when he comes around next time by.
Well, Clayton McLeod goes 6th position on a 1:15.4, but Mark Usher, winner of the last 2 rounds of this championship, wants to go to the next level and prove what he has got underneath. Juna Hajala also out there trying to set some times. Quite a few drivers at the moment here with 3 minutes to go haven't set times. David Cudmore, one of them, on his first lap, he's heading himself to the final chicane, the Wall of Champions chicane, and is very narrow, heading his way over to the line. We'll see what the 22 car can do as it makes a progress through. 1:16.9, it's only good enough for 19.
And not a really solid lap there from Cudmore, really struggling by the looks of it, but nevertheless, very solid lap to end up getting there, and it looks like Super's about to finish a lap as well, so we'll see whether he can improve on it this lap. It's a 15.0 straight through.
Yeah, straight through, and up to third for Jose Serpa on a 1:15, absolutely dead, but Marco Sanfilippo's time has been wonderful. He's done a 1:14.2 for his second lap. That's 0.6 of a second clear from his brother Danilo. It seems like the two Sanfilippo brothers are having a good job. Here's Usher over the line, 1:14.6 on the opening lap. Time for one more. Tyres will be a little bit better. Fuel load, little bit lighter. 0.4 and 200ths. That's a tough ask.
Yes, certainly is, especially when you're pushing the limit as hard as these drivers are, and you can just see he's at the wall.
And just like that, there goes his shot at pole position. Mark Usher will start no higher than second position, but crucially, there is only a handful of drivers who can improve. Cudmore is one of them. Another one is Michael Berg, who's going to go straight into pit lane. So here's Cudmore looking to improve his time, and he does a 1:16.4. He jumps one place over Luis Maragán, and that will be crucial for him. 21st position for car number 22. They always tell you when it comes to iRacing, get above the number on your car in an official race. Here's Kowalski, status report, 122.9. That will only be good enough for P25. That looked like very much a sighter for the 13.
Yeah, it certainly did. Didn't look like it was really an optimal lap at the end, but nevertheless, at least got a time on the board. So won't start all the way down the order. Only 2 drivers yet to actually set a lap time, and those are Robert Plumley and Tyson Myers. So it's currently 26 cars have set a time, but we've got a 28 car field, so it's looking pretty reasonable.
Well, if you want to laugh here, Cam, the 2 drivers who haven't set times are Twitch streamers.
Yeah, they actually are, which is even funnier. And the fact that one of them is indeed Quirk, it's going to be quite fascinating to see how Quirk goes in these F1 cars. I haven't actually ever seen him race in an F1 car, so yeah, will be quite fascinating to see whether he can not put it in the wall and hopefully not quick it.
Well, Quirketize is normally classified as a win or bin driver. He either goes out and has a dominating performance, or he finds himself in the wall. It seems like it's one or the other, and more likely it finds itself to be the other on more occasions than not. Here's Kowalski, though, heading through the final chicane, looking for his second lap time. We know that his banker was a 122.9. This should be more representative. It's crossing the line, and Kowalski does a 61 to go 20th position overall. That was a good time from Patrick Kowalski. Everyone is done with laps. This is how the grid will stack. Marco Sanfilippo then gets the championship in his hands. He gets himself pole, 114.207. He's ahead of Mark Ush, who's won the last 2 rounds, and then it's brother Danilo there in 3rd place. Jose Serpa starts from 4th with Juanmi Costa in 5th. Then it's Andres Nielsen 6th, Jan Hoffman 7th, Stefan Piotrowski in 8th, with Clayton McLeod 9th, and Blake Haswell in 10th.
In 11th, you got Stefan Chantal, followed by Ray Graffone, Jaden Thirlwall in 13th, and Amelia Fernandez Garrido in 14th, again, Strutinsky and John Pat Kelly 15th, 16th, 17th, Steve Gioria, Unit Hardula on 18th, Ruben Moran on 19th, and rounding out the top 20, Patrick Kowalski.
Edu Vila starts 21st with Tamas Jane in 22nd. Then it's David Cudmore and Luis Madigan with Ngot Khan win there in 25th. Michael Berg. Then you got Tyson Meyer starting ahead of Robert Plumley by iRacing difference. And it's very clear when you're car number 4 compared to car number 25. But there are 2 minutes to get up onto the grid, and strategy is going to be key here today. Of course, this is a 100% race distance. That means that the stopping strategy, we are probably looking at a 2-stop here today, is going to be the quickest way to go through in a race that is roughly going to add a third onto the time. So expect this one to go maybe about an hour and a half. The Sanfilippos look strong. Mark Usher's going to keep everybody waiting. But then you've got these two in 4th and 5th, Jose Serpa and Juanmi Costa. Those two are going to be looking to work together, try and make some progress through the field. Everyone knows what they're going to be looking for today, and that is going to be a big race result. In a big split like this, losing positions today is going to be the minimum for a lot of drivers. For others, they could gain a hefty amount of points today from drivers not being able to finish in such a big split like this. But they have themselves just 10 seconds waiting on the likes of Andreas Nielsen to get up onto the starting grid. He is the last driver we are waiting for, may even choose to start this one from pit lane, and that looks like it will be the case. So we'll see how this one all plays out. Lights procedure starts on top of the iRacing gantry, and let's get going. It's a green flag. Good start from Marcus Sanfilippo. Danilo gets good, and there was Usher trying to cover, but he's not covered quick enough. Sanfilippo's 1 and 2 into turns 1 and 2. They come along, and they're going to file pretty nicely through this section. No drivers running themselves into too many issues through this opening section. No dramas to speak of as they head themselves down the hill towards 3 and 4 on this man-made island, which was made for the Montreal Olympics, and just through they go. It is the Sanfilippos who are clear at the moment.
Pretty clean start at the front. Just seeing John Pat Kelly has had a spin at the chicane, but nevertheless, everybody else has seemed to make their way through pretty well. And of course, being a longer race, everybody's trying to survive these first few laps before giving it 100%.
Well, 100% is definitely what is needed, but look at the Sanfilippo struggling here. Marco slow on the run into the panel. Oh, this contact, and Danilo's going to go straight on here. Oh, hit his brother. He does, and straight like that, Marco gets hit by Danilo. Danilo's going to have to come down in and make a stop. That was well scouted by Mark Usher going through that section. Serpa now will gain advantage. Hoffman side by side here with Stefan Piotrowski as Usher makes a way through on the wounded Danilo Sanfilippo, who will have to go straight on. It's 3 wide as they approach up to Danilo Sanfilippo. This is brave, and Sanfilippo gets a tap, and he'll go straight on. One misses the chicane as they go through, as they look to file through the wall of champions, and then looking through the likes of Jan Strutinsky going through. This is madness from the first lap.
Yeah, it certainly is. That is not going to be what Marco's going to want at all, especially with points on the line. That's a big, hefty end. Unfortunately, if he's got more than just front wing damage, if he's got only just front wing damage, you'll be very likely to get away with that. But nevertheless, very, very big incident on lap 1 that you don't want to happen.
Both Sanfilippos running into trouble. It looked like it was perfect, but ultimately it runs into trouble. Here is the likes of Juanmi Costa down the inside of Patrick Kowalski. Status report here, and well, Skipper, it seems like it's all gone wrong. Going backwards a little bit. Glory now wants in. Moran, Hajela in the mix as well, as he looks to try and find some progress here. This mid-pack scrapping hard, and look at this. Hajela trying to go down the inside. Ruben Moran. Moran runs wide. And oh no, round. That's Edu Villa who's been hit.
Yeah, and he's hit the wall as well, has Edu Villa, and that's his front wing gone, so he will have to pit in another one. He's going to have to come down pit road early on in this race. Burge also making a move on Tamasene, getting up the inside. Oh, but contact.
Yeah, some really, really difficultness there heading through that section of road, and it looked like it was always going to be a tough one to keep an eye out on. Cudmore got it back going. Here's Nyotkan Win trying to go to the inside. The Dutch driver there making the move with the Vietnamese heritage. That's a good move there down the inside. Still though, this is how it looks after 2 laps worth of racing. Usher leads this one. Second is José Surfer. Jan Hoffman in third, and Stefan Piotrowski is in 4th position. 5th is Stefan Chantal, and he's in his own scrap right now for P5 with Blake Haswell, who's up 4 positions of his own.
Yeah, Haswell taking advantage of the mistake from other drivers, and that obvious incident at the hairpin on lap 1, so pretty good start for him, and going to be some solid points if he can keep this up, but putting pressure on Chantal is as well, and really doing a really good job of doing it as well.
Yeah, he's doing a good job at the moment, and it's just everywhere you look, there are moves being made in this race. So on the brakes, Haswell goes into the Pangle, the hairpin, and he will not have an opportunity really to go out there and attack in this one at the moment. Issues though, but Nyok can't win, and he'll have to go side by side with Quirkative down on the brake. Tyson Meyer gets it going. One vehicle runs off wide down the hairpin. Quirk tries to go there onto the inside. Doesn't really deal with too much there. Michael Berg holds some position, as does David Cudmore. And they're going to go at it in front, because here's Kowalski now trying to get past Yuna Harjula at the moment, or Harjula, so to speak. But Harjula holding on to the position nicely there through the Wall of Champions section without really any worries at all. There's a car in the wall. Oh, there's 3 cars in the wall. Juanmi Costa involved.
Yeah, that's not ideal at all. That's a number of cars, actually. Very interesting to see what's happened there. I think contact between the 2 cars.
Yeah, it was. So that was contact there with Juanmi Costa, and I believe that is Emilio Fernandez, and then Jaden Thurlow takes the very big escape route of going straight on at turn 1 and turn 2. I don't blame him. That looked very much like Felipe Massa back in the Williams days. Yeah,
it certainly did. That was a very, very big incident, and probably going to be more than just a bit of wing damage. So really unfortunate there for the car of Emilio, but nevertheless, everybody seems to be sorting themselves out regardless.
They certainly do, side by side, as Harjula going around the outside here at Ruben Moran, but Moran having none of it. He won't have the power on the exit, looking like a 2011 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series vehicle. It's black and it's red, and here comes Patrick Kowalski trying to get back to the inside, but look at this from Moran. He's straight back on the low downforce package. Here on the brakes they go. Last of the late breakers, Harjula does brilliantly and checks up Kowalski.
Yeah, he definitely checked him up there, and Kowalski's still going to have to come back at him, but in the draft, you can just see not quite enough to get a move into turn 1, but he's very close with the downforce package he is running, so really got some pace in that car, has Kowalski, and oh, a big moment for Ryan holding him up, and had to take evasive action, did Patrick.
Yeah, he certainly did, and that was never going to be ideal. So Kowalski able to hold on just a little bit further back. We've got more trains at the moment. We've got Robert Plumley, who's through on Tamasene, but Shane wants to try and get himself back. Andreas Nielsen has just found a way past Tyson Meyer, so Quirkative down a position now, back to 18th place overall, but Nielsen will look to try and make some good progress through the field, and then right at the back, and this is crucial here in terms of the way that this race is being run. We've got the 2 Sanfilippo brothers, Marco Antonio, 33 and 40 seconds off of the pace at the moment. There's no fast repairs, so this is damage limitation for both drivers, who will now hope they will chase all the way through the field. One vehicle's turned around, that's Kowalski.
Yeah, it looks like he lost it on the exit of the corner just a little bit too much. on the throttle pedal, a little too eager to get back to max throttle, and just around it went, which very easy to do, as we know. But yeah, regardless, very unfortunate for the cars of both Marco and Danilo, both damage limitation at this point, to just try and recover some form of points, which is going to be a hard task. But if they can have some reasonable pace, which it looks like Danilo does indeed have, despite the contact that he had, should be able to at least recover something later on when the pit stops come into phase.
Well, that's going to be the key here, as it was very much a nothing happened as they all try and get themselves away further forward. So Kowalski, a lot of work to do in terms of this race. Haswell now looking behind. Here's Clayton McLeod down the inside, coming out of the third chicane. It's not a place you normally see a move done, but McLeod moves up to 6th place with that one. A very, very accomplished move, and now they fight for 4th in front, because Chantal's caught the back of Piotrowski at this point in time. The 21 machine now is pretty much finding all the lower numbers, starting to try and find a way through. Chantal thinking about a way to the inside at the moment, and did not have the confidence through that section. Piotrowski knew he could hold that pace.
Yeah, Chantal had a look just to fill his mirrors of Piotrowski, and it didn't quite go from the move. So he knows he's got some pace under that car, does Chantal, to possibly make a move later in this race, which he will want to do with pace. He's got 16.7, so matching the car of Piotrowski, but also slightly quicker than the car of Jose Serpa, currently in second as well.
Slowdown penalty comes in for David Cudmore. He lets everybody go as he went straight on down at the chicane. That was not ideal. He hit the brakes and almost got scouted there. Luis Maragán was not expecting a second car to go through, and as such, over the inside curve, David Cudmore has to drop back, and he now finds himself behind Juan Costa, Andres Nielsen and co, and that's not going to be useful for the way that his race wants to be running at this stage. Usher now has a 2.5-second lead here at the end of lap 7 in this race, as he leads over Jose Serpa, who has a 2nd place to his name, got one right at the start of the season. Jan Hoffman there in 3rd position right now, having a very good run of things at the moment, just holding the pack behind at bay of Piotrowski and Chantal at 1 second at this point in time. That's all Jan Hoffman needs.
Yeah, exactly. He just needs to be consistent, manage that gap so he can keep himself in that podium position. It's going to be a hard ask with a lot of laps left and 2 pit stops, obviously, but if he can just keep doing what he's doing, he should be fine for a pretty reasonable result. As battle for 17th at the moment down the back straight.
Yeah, that was an easy move for Juan Costa there. Andreas Nielsen hitting the brakes early, knowing that Juan Costa is quicker than him, and goes through, and that goes through. This is 2nd, 3rd and 4th even we're looking at, and Piotrowski's got that gap from 1 second, which was 7/10 of a second, now down to half a second.
Yeah, so clearly a mistake somewhere just before by Jan Hoffman around the
wide.
He ran wide at one of the chicanes, so that's allowed Piotrowski to get a possible move here. The Headman looks to the inside, doesn't break late enough.
Oh, well, he thought about it, and actually the room was left there by Jan Hoffman, who took the big wide line, and Piotrowski just not in position there, and was maybe not expecting to try and go and make a move at that point. He backed out of it, but the door was very much left wide open for that chance to go down the inside. So Piotrowski's got to go out there and do it again. But now you start seeing here, this is the Schrodinger's overtake situation for Piotrowski, because not only is he attacking, he's defending as well. He must attack and not attack.
Yeah, very much so. 2 things at once is really going to make things life a bit difficult for Piotrowski, but nevertheless they've got Chantal just behind them, who is slightly quicker, so do have to be careful of the car of Chantal.
Oh, look at this. Oh, huge train behind Cudmore. I think he just got through on Andreas Nielsen. Tyson Meyer, Quirketize, wanting to try and find a way through. It looks like there's some heavy wing damage for Andreas Nielsen potentially, which is not helping matters, I don't think. No, it looks like it's all okay. Tyson Meyer, though, will try and get through, and I'm surprised actually with Nielsen's pace at the moment. 1:19. Certainly not in the offing of what we're expecting from someone who qualified 6th on the grid. So Meyer will try and find a way through. Cannot get it done here at turn 6, turn 7. So more waiting for Meyer as he looks to try and get through. Look at Chantal get a good run though. But off at the exit here in the 3rd, 4th, 5th battle, it is Piotrowski who gets a very, very good run using the draft as a defensive buffer.
Yeah, certainly. He's using that draft to his advantage to try and keep Chantal at bay, but just not quite able to catch up to the car of Hoffman's for the time being. But you can see that the car of Villeneuve getting out of the way, and I did wonder if Costa hasn't made a mistake.
He's around down at the hairpin. It's Juanmi Costa. He was charging hard as he went through and goes around all by himself on the brakes, loops it too much pace going through, and he has to sit on the apex to Lapangle, wait for everyone to go through. Finally got some battles going through that, but then he had to hit reverse, which is rare to see in these styles of vehicles.
Mistake from Piotrowski.
Then as there is a mistake from Piotrowski, you're absolutely right there, and that's cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, just got a little bit too much wheel spin on the exit of the corner and just ended up having to lock it all up. So Chantal on through into the fourth and will be released to go down and hunt down Hoffman's.
Yeah, I've just seen that, and Piotrowski's lucky he wasn't completely run into there by Chantal. He locked up the rear axle, was at 45 degrees perpendicular to the track, able to save it, but Chantal just having a way through replay up on screen, brought to you by Motum Simulations here, and this is a car around. This is Marco Sanfilippo we're looking at right now, who is on the back of this train, and does he go for a little bit of a whoopsie-daisy? Oh, he goes for a straight on, he finds the escape road, and I think that's his day done. But that one, stay on the replay here. This is what's happened to Ruben Moran coming out to the third chicane. Oh, wiggle, and spread eagle sideways. Oh, that's a poor rejoin. And he gets absolutely tea and totaled there by Harjala.
Yeah, so Moran obviously going to have big damage after that. Really unfortunate. So not too ideal for Moran, and that's going to be another DNF early on in this race.
It is, and it's the second non-finish. Well, actually, it's going to be the third drivers that are not there. So Marco Sanfilippo, Emilio Fernandez-Reno earlier on, and then you are going to see what has happened to Ruben Moran. His day pretty much done as well at this point in time. We're lap 11 here of 70. We're expecting this first pit stop window to be knocking on the door of around maybe lap 23 or so. Maybe the right place to spread out for a two-stop. If you're going to dare to try and do a one-stop here today, Cam, you're looking at around maybe lap 30 being the time to come in and make that stop.
Yeah, it's certainly a prospect of doing a one-stop. Then again, you don't want to have those tyres drop off too early as well. So really do need to be careful if you're going to do a one-stop. Make sure you protect those tyres as nice as possible. No slides, no lockups, no nothing. You don't want to hurt the middle, as you're really going to risk running into issues very late in the race when everybody else is on fresh tyres.
Patrick Kowalski making progress here. Has caught the back of Andreas Nielsen, who's looking one direction. Backwards. Oh, no, that's not the right way. We tried to go to the inside. It was a late move from Nielsen there, which would have spooked that driver of Kowalski in front. And it was a case of Kowalski and Nielsen both committed at the same time, and Nielsen lets Kowalski have the position going down the front stretch. That nearly ended in a high-speed crash at 300 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, certainly does. That was a very, very close moment there, and I believe Hoffman's has also lost the spot to the car of Chantal.
Yeah, you can see this. He's going to go through the right-hander. He's going to clip the curb. He's going to go sideways. This is a carbon copy incident of what happened to Stefan Piotrowski going through that section. So that's a big, big shame for Jan Hoffman. He cedes his place on the podium to a Stefan Chantal, who had a poor round at Watkins Glen. He had himself quite a few issues at Laguna Seca as well. So Chantal desperately needing points here, and being in third with big rivals out of this one. This is big.
Yeah, certainly. He's going to want to be relishing at the chance to get on the podium and recover some decent points here, but nevertheless, the battle is going on pretty hard for 13th and 14th by the looks of it.
Oh, it certainly is right now. Look at this. David Cudmore trying to get past Luis Maragall. They've been battling for a long time. Cudmore to the inside. He doesn't have the overlap, though. He gets on the brakes, but Maragall just braking a little bit later, missing the apex now, and suddenly, oh, hello, onto the scene. Kowalski pretty much giving a nice little tap there to the back, going through that final section. That's going to cost him the chance here into turn number 1 and 2. You've got to be careful with these Williams Toyota FW31s. They are very easy to get wrong, and you've seen just how many drivers struggle today in track conditions which are cold, 21 degrees.
Certainly, the cold track conditions providing a lot of grip and a lot of potential to push the car just a little bit too hard, but you can see Kowalski really trying to get the move done on Luis here, and he just can't quite get the run out of the corner, but a big wiggle that time. You could just see he's pushing so hard, and yet Nilsson will really be hoping that he can make another one to get on by.
In terms of the Penguins of Madagascar, Patrick Kowalski is looking more like Rico with a chainsaw at this point in time. He is struggling to keep control of his vehicle, and he knows there is going to be a few issues if things continue in this vein of form. We replay up on screen for you. Oh, and is that Quirk going for a little bit of a moment there? I think that was.
Yeah, I do believe that was indeed Quirk. Tyson Wyatt coming into the chicane here, and you just see getting nicely through the chicane, but just getting a little bit too early on the power. It's like Quirk possibly actually did unsettle the car. Nice slow-mo there, and you can just see the wheel work of him getting that car saved. So really good driving there by Tyson, but another mistake. He's really pushing the limit as Tyson and really doesn't want to put it in the wall.
Well, he's now finding himself in a three-car scrap here because he's got Marugan, he's got Nielsen here in front of that as well. This is going to be a key scrap then going on into the right and left here of turns 3 and 4. Small kick left 5 for the long right of 6, and open up the door then. Try and find a way on the inside. Meyer not confident enough to make the move on Lewis Marugan. They go through as we've got another spinner.
Piotrowski has managed to loop it on his own, actually. No, there was contact between himself and Clayton McLeod on the entry.
Oh, well, that's going to be tough to decide that, because it looked like McLeod saw a door open and very much carried the speed. Piotrowski ran slightly wide through that section, Cam, and wouldn't you say that Piotrowski ultimately was trying to cover it? Stay on this one here, because I think more issues have happened right now, as we're seeing right now. This is what's happening here with Work, trying to go down the inside to make the move. Third chicane, he's going to try and get this one happening, and you know what? That is easy as you like.
Yeah, certainly. Very, very textbook move by Tyson to get the job done and get into, I believe, 16th place. So he'll be very happy with that for the time being.
Certainly will, and I'm sure all of his fans on Twitch will be incredibly happy with that overtake as well, going through that section. So for the time being, some really good driving going on at the moment. Keep an eye on this though. Stefan Piotrowski being caught now after that incident by Ray Griffioen. We haven't talked anything about him at the moment, but he's had a quiet race up 4 positions over the opening 15 laps of this event. He has been going at a rate of knots and finds himself in a very nice place for a driver who is rated 27th out of 28 when it comes to iRacing.
Yeah, certainly. Ray's showing some pretty good pace at the moment, a 17.5 when you compare that to those around him. He's not actually that far for pace, so doing a really, really good job at the moment is Ray to hunt down at the car of Piotrowski. He's made a few mistakes, so if Piotrowski makes any more mistakes, Griffin's going to be right in there to make the move on him.
He certainly will be, and he is someone who knows how to wait for mistakes, does Ray, and he will wait and wait and wait, and he has the patience, of the patron saint. That's how good Ray Griffioen is at waiting for mistakes to crop up, heading through a track which really does punish mistakes. There aren't many street circuits on the iRacing service, Cam, but what you can say is that every time there is a street circuit is a true test of these drivers.
It certainly is. It's one of the testing grounds for a lot of drivers to see whether you really can push it 100% or 110% every single lap, or whether you're sort of a mediocre driver. So yeah, it really does challenge the driver, these street circuits, and really does give you a thrill as well, having to dodge those concrete walls and get ever so close as you can to them without hitting them. So yeah, really, really fun, but at the same time, really, really challenging.
We'll keep an eye on Danilo San Filippo at the moment on his recovery. He's gone through with all of those issues with drives retiring, likes of his brother Marco, likes of Michael Berg, Ruben Moran, 6 laps down as well. He's now up into 19th position. Next up on his hit list will be John Pat Kelly in 18th position. Surprised to see John Pat Kelly struggling so much, Cam.
Yeah, he did have a spin on lap 1, remember, so he is quite down the order and having to do a bit of a recovery drive here, but nevertheless he is doing his best to try and recover something down to, well, currently in 18th from pretty much 16th on the grid, and then obviously had that spin, so he dropped it all the way down to the end. So getting a bit of a recovery drive, and he should be able to recover some more positions when pit stops come into it.
Yeah, and when they start to become available for these drivers, they know they want to stay out as long as they want. David Cudmore is one of those drivers who has decided to become the first driver to make a scheduled pit stop here on lap 16 of this event. This is going to be a pretty big undercut attempt trying to come through, and what we do understand is that traffic is the biggest factor of an undercut, because we know that they gain a lot more weight with the fueling. Of course, 2009, one of the last years where mandatory refueling was required in Formula 1, and David Cudmore out and away and finds himself on an island on his own behind Juan Costa, who's now trying to get back through on Robert Plumley here. This is the scrap for 20th position in the world of Kinducci defends.
Yeah, Costa's trying to find a way past on Robert Plumley, and like you said, Cudmore in a nice situation on his own, so that undercut possibly going to work for him if he can use the clean air to his advantage. But you can see the difference in pace between Costa and Plumley, and Costa really using the draft to his advantage. Nice exit out of the chicane, and going to be a possible move. Looks to the inside, but not going to decide to make a move at the hairpin.
No, he decided against that through that section of road, and that's going to be key for the way this race is going to be run. Thought against coming down and getting that one done on the inside as they go through. Costa again, though, still trying to make this move. He gets himself side by side as they go through. Plumley on the inside is going to try and defend this one, but ultimately decides, you know what, you're quicker, you can have it on the inside, and that was very close there. Juan Costa from hitting the fabled Wall of Champions 1999, where I believe it was 4 or 5 drivers like the Heinz-Harald Frentzen, Michael Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve, all of them hitting the Wall of Champions and more.
Yes, certainly, and very easy to do, especially if you hit those inside curbs wrong and it launches you straight into the barrier in the most awkward of angles to end up ruining your race. So yeah, really pushing the limit was Costa to get on it by, but nevertheless has been released by the car of Plumley to now charge on to try and catch up to the car of Daniele Sanfilippo, who is about to try and make a move on John and Pat Kelly as well, just up the road at the hip, but going to sit behind for the time being.
Well, they've got lap traffic to deal with. Edu Villos limping around the track and isn't being too much of a thought or a mobile chicane, which Murray Walker once said in the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix that Luca Badoer was once. And there's the lift-off there. That caught Danilo a little bit by surprise. John Pat Kelly said, you know what? You can have it. I am not fighting someone who is up there fighting for the title.
Yeah, certainly. Danilo with a lot of pace at the moment after that pit stop. 16.7, that's pretty much up there with Jose Serpa running in second. So plenty of pace. If he can keep this up, he should be able to recover a number of more positions and possibly get himself inside that top 10 reasonably easily.
Yeah, and that's going to be the key here as Andreas Nielsen is going to come out of pit road in just a moment's time, comes off the jacks, and he gets himself going. IndyCar-style pit lane here at Montreal here today, so that's going to be very key to remember. They're going to drive right up to the end as Nielsen comes out of the pits behind David Cudmore by a fair margin. You've got this scrap going on, also one lap down. You've got Nyok Khan Win at it with Tamas Shane.
Yeah, Shane really trying to get the move done here on Nyok Khan Win, but just can't quite decide to have the balance in the car to try and get the power down and get a run on Nyok Khan Win. But nevertheless, trying everything he possibly can as Shane to get a move, and not a bad exit there, a little bit of a wiggle, but yeah, just not quite able to do it.
Yeah, not in a position. That third chicane's a very tough place to get a run and actually get a move sorted. So you normally wait for the likes of this hairpin that comes up Lepangle, a very important hairpin on this course. It's the slowest part of the course as well. It looks to the inside, tries to get into the mirrors and scare Nyok Khan Win. Not happening. And if these two keep battling like this, there's second, third and fourth, all looking like they are going to want to get through. It might be a case that those sorts of drivers decide they want to come down in and make a pit stop if the traffic is going to be a nightmare. Look at Shane close. He goes right up into the mirrors here, trying to unsettle the Dutchman, but not finding anything.
Yes, certainly not. They had to look and to fill the mirrors, but just did not unsettle the car of Nyok Khan Win, unfortunately. So, but like you said, Jose Serpa, Steven Chantal, and also Jan Hoffman are all approaching these lap cars now, so might be not a bad time to start thinking about a pit stop to try and get some clean air and also avoid having to deal with any of the traffic. And now Shane really close on the back end of Khan now.
Oh, he certainly is. You can see how much this is going to be a tough scrap. On the brakes they go, and now blue flags will be waving here as Jose Serpa now joins up onto the scene. He'll want to get through quickly, and because there is now a bit of a gap, yes, Tamashane lifts out of it and decides, I'm going to follow in behind Jose Serpa and Max Verstappen my way through the traffic, but he's going to have no luck of that. And there's Stephen Chantal, who will be looking to try and get through. And the crucial thing for Stefan Chantal here is he's Canadian. This is home territory for Chantal. As Yokar Win runs wide, and all of a sudden, they're going to be side-by-side position. Chantal's not going to get through. Big wiggle for Chantal. Here comes Shane.
Yeah, he's going to look to the outside, down the back straight, going to have a much better run than the car of Not Khan Win, but pretty even heading down Khan on the inside. Is he going to hold it? No, he's going to let the car of Shane on by, and will not let Chantal by though, so Chantal's going to have to try and get by.
In comes Hoffman. This is big. This is the first of the leaders then to come down and make a stop at the back end of lap 21, start of lap 22. Jan Hoffman makes the call to come down onto pit road, and we'll see how this one plays out as the first of 2 stops, maybe even 3 if you're pitting on lap 21, could come into play.
Yes, certainly, although the time loss in pit lane might be the nail in the coffin and possibly not make the 3 stop much more viable, but nevertheless, the car of Hoffman's really is away now, so not a bad strategy call to avoid all that traffic and be able to get himself into something. They're going to come out behind Tyson Meyer, but Sanfilippo with a mistake.
Yeah, right behind. That would be Luis Maragán he was trying to deal with, and Danilo gets a huge tank slapper coming out of the final corner. He's done incredibly well as we've got it on replay here, brought to you by Motum Simulations. Look at this in slow-mo. Clips the curb hard on the inside. That unsettles the vehicle going through. Looks to try and save it. Save it, save it, save it. Just about manages it, but those Bridgestones look absolutely shot.
Yeah, they would have been pushing so hard for 20-odd laps, absolutely qualifying pace. And I believe Lewis Valve has also ended up DNFing as well. He's back in pit lane.
He is, so something's happened to Luis Maragán, and it's happened through turn 2. So that one, very interesting. Goes through turn 2, looks to put the power down on the exit. Oh, he's straight into the wall, noses it.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Louise. In for a top 10 there and looking like, yeah, that car's reasonably broken.
This is key. Chantal's covering Jan Hoffman here in terms of coming down onto the lane.
Yeah, he actually is, and Hoffman is just coming down the front straight now, so this is going to be actually really close, although I think Chantal's probably going to get him. Yes, he is by the looks of it, but it's going to be actually still reasonably close, and Hoffman's just going to miss out on the position.
2 seconds. That was what it was. 2 seconds between them. So Jan Hoffman and Stefan Chantal going well. It's worth noting that Danilo Sanfilippo here is just behind these drivers at about 7-8 seconds back, but he will have to make an extra stop compared to everybody else because of the fact that he had to pit lap 1 after the damage down at the hairpin. For those wondering about that championship picture, Mark Usher saw both the Sanfilippo brothers come together on lap 1. That made the big key difference in terms of the way that this race was run. In is Robert Plumley down to make his pit stop as well, as the lead now for Mark Usher extends to 9.2 seconds out in front. It's a winter wonderland, or now we could say springtime fun for Mark Usher. He is walking away with this race at the moment, but you never count your chickens. More lap traffic.
Yeah, certainly. All the lap traffic starting to come into play, and I've just seen Ray Graffone and also Not Khan Win come into pit lane as well. So everybody's starting to use the strategy to their advantage. Robert Plumley has just come out behind the car of Jaden Thurlow. So everybody's starting to use that first stop to their advantage to try and get some new tyres on and get back underway.
Well, this is going to be key for Ray Graffone here, who's going to have to deal with Not Khan Win, who actually lets him go side by side. They'll be coming out of the pit, so Not Khan Win lets him go. Ray Graffone slow, but he's going to be right there with Danilo Sanfilippo, who runs deep through turn 2. So Ray Graffone, in terms of his scrap, trying to stay with Stefan Piotrowski, that's not going to be helpful.
Yeah, it certainly isn't at all, and it's really going to make things that much more difficult for him.
It is. They go through. Jose Serpa stays out another lap as Mark Usher is about to put a lap on Tyson Meyer. So Quirkitised at the current rate that he's going here, 24 laps into this race. He is going to go through. Here's Blake Haswell, though, side by side, trying to get the move done on Clayton McLeod. Has the nose to the inside, and that is a very comfortable move for Blake Haswell, who gets the move done. Struggles a little bit there to get the car back on the racing line, but he is through on Clayton McLeod for what is third position on the track, not net.
Certainly, and that's pretty much, I believe, fourth place overall net. So going to be looking to try and get some more time out of that, but a little bit of a mistake, and McLeod's holding his own there.
Yeah, he is, and I just saw Quirk nearly losing right in front of the race leader. That would have been a scary moment for him, knowing he could have affected the race leader's race. Good character, actually, is Quirk. He's a nice guy out there, and probably one of the more popular streamers out there, I guess it would have to be said, but he very nearly lost it at the third chicane, right in front of Mark Lusher.
Yeah, certainly did, and that could have been very disastrous if he had hit the arm car and bounced straight back out. So really, really lucky there for Mark Usher. But Clayton, I've just seen Clayton McLeod putting some really big pressure on Blake Haswell at the moment, who seems to be just possibly struggling a little bit.
Well, in comes Jose Serpa from second position. This is going to be key. Haswell dives down onto the lane. McLeod stays out to go on to lap 26. And this is where we're starting to hit that window of maybe the one stop might be coming into play. But we know they can only go maybe 25, 26 laps on the fuel. So it's probably most likely going to be 2 stops here today for everyone. Maybe 3 if you feel like your name is Max Del Orco or someone like that. Serpa hits his box. He'll be up. He'll get 4 new fresh sets of those Bridgestone rubbers. He'll get back down off of the Jack's fuel, in and away he will go right about now, and this is key. Here's Stefan Chantal only now making his way down the straight. Serpa's overcut is fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly is. Really, really good job there by Serpa. A little bit actually slower than by about a second to Chantal, but Haswell's actually lost out to 2 cars, Chantal and Serpa, but battling with Hoffman's really hard, but going to let him by.
I wouldn't say he's lost out. I'd say he gained. He very nearly found a way past Hoffman. He was nowhere near when Jan Hoffman decided to come down and make that stop. So Blake Haswell has played himself into 6th place. Now this really does open up the questions here as the race leader, Mark Usher, dives down onto pit lane. Does McLeod find himself now in that battle with Jan Hoffman and also Blake Haswell? And also for Piotrowski, does he now start walking away? Both of those drivers stay out. Clayton McLeod, at this point in time, will take the race lead overall.
Yeah, he will, but remember, the tyres do drop off after about 30 laps from what we've been told, so does have to be careful not to get into that window of when they drop off. Everybody else is going to be on reasonably new tyres or brand new tyres if they've just pitted, so we'll see what happens here. And actually, Mark Usher stayed in pit lane longer. He's actually ended up going back up on the jacks twice.
Oh, maybe he looked for tyres, didn't have them, and he had to go and check them again. So communication error down at the pit stop, and look at that. It's brought Jose Serpa back within 3 seconds here of the race leader. So Mark Usher with a mistake. Good thing he built up that gap, though, here over the course of that opening stint, because now he's going to have to do it all over again.
He's certainly very, very lucky to have that gap that he did, but nevertheless, shouldn't have too many issues increasing that gap back out to what it was by the time the second pit stop runs out.
Well, here's Hyler going side by side with Andreas Nielsen here into the final chicane, and nearly the position changing for what was 17th on the road as they go over the start-finish line. And, well, Hyler holding on to that place as Nielsen at the moment trying to go through as we look a little bit further forward here as Giori under pressure. Here comes Patrick Kowalski thinking about the inside here at this next left-hander. Surprised that we haven't seen many moves down into the left-right of the second chicane.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen that many, which is a little bit strange because it's usually one of the more optimum overtaking spots, but nevertheless, Kowalski really putting a lot of pressure on Giori here, and Giori with a bit of a mistake there, running a bit deep, and that's allowed Kowalski just to get a little bit of a run here down towards the hairpin. Looks to the inside, but going to sit behind for the time being and look to get a move done at the back straight chicane.
Well, a little wide goes Giori, but he's able to gather it back up. Kowalski's going to have to use the draft to his advantage. That slipstream is going to be key, and he picks it up 290, 300 kilometers an hour. Now hits 310, 311, hits the air, Gets side by side, on the brakes he goes, and makes the move comfortably there. Nothing you can do about that one, Steve. That is Kowalski's position as Danilo Sanfilippo comes in for his first mandatory stop. And the likes of McLeod and Piotrowski and Thurlow, they have all stayed out a little bit longer. We expect them to come down in very soon. Clayton McLeod decides he's going to stay out for his 29th lap of this race.
Yeah, Clayton really pushing those tyres to the limit here, and I've just seen Filippo come out from the pit lane, so he's currently just behind Harula in fighting for position, so he's actually gained a little bit there in the pit stop and really is up the order and still recovering. But yeah, Clayton McLeod really pushing those tyres to the absolute limit of the drop-off, and I've just seen Piotrowski also come in.
Yeah, Piotrowski in on the lane, hits his markers as he goes through, as we look at Tyson Meyer and David Codmore in this scrap, 3-car scrap out there on the road. They're heading through the third chicane right now. It's Meyer at the back, so Quirk's got to try and get himself a few positions at the moment. On the brakes they go. It's Nyokam Win, I do believe it is, in front of them, who is lap traffic, so will have to try and get out of the way of both of them at this point in time. But Cudmore needs to find an escape, and at this point in time, he just about manages it here on the long back straight, and Quirk needs to set up this final corner to try and give himself the big advantage possible. Gets an okay run, and now he will have a chance here in towards turn number 1. Look at the run he's going to get here, Cam. He'll have to move to the inside to get it done, but he backs out of it, no confidence.
Yeah, Tyson obviously just not really wanting to push the limit too hard and making mistakes, so fair play by Meyer to try and hopefully use patience to his advantage, but nevertheless, car of it, not Khan1 getting it out of the way nicely for the 2 cars, and you can just see that Meyer is going to be pushing hard, but McLeod coming into pit lane now, so 30 laps on those tyres, they will be shot.
Yeah, well, there's someone who's gone further. It's Jaden Thurlow, who is here on lap 30 of his race right now. McLeod out and away. There will go Mark Usher, and what a stint this has been from Clayton McLeod. He's going to come out right in the thick of this here. He'll lose out to Serba, but he will jump Chantal. He's up into third. What a stint from Clayton McLeod.
Yeah, fantastic stint by McLeod to end up jumping Chantal in the end and end up on the podium here and not far behind Super for second as well. So if he can keep the pace up that he's had, should be on to possibly try and get a second place if he can, but Chantal's really going to be pressuring him. Clayton McLeod on cold tyres at the moment, so Chantal's really going to be trying here to try and get this move done.
Well, Stefan Chantal close. He's within range, in drafting range, to try and get himself up forward, but for the time being, he's not quite there just yet. The hairpin's going to be key, though, for Clayton McLeod. He's got to try and work out how much grip do I have now in my brand new fresh set of boots. He runs wide through the corner, and all of a sudden Chantal can't get it on the exit though, and suddenly Clayton McLeod, within a second here of Jose Serpa, has just the fringes of draft to help him in terms of his defense.
He certainly does, but you can just see Chantal closing in so quick with that extra bit of draft that he's got on Clayton McLeod, but doesn't get the run out of the chicane actually. So McLeod holding on for the time being with a lap now on that rubber. Will be having some nice temp, and Meyer is going to be busy at the moment.
He is trying to get past Cudmore, down at the hairpin again. Cannot find the braking marker, but wide goes Cudmore, and we're going to be side by side, and look behind them as well, because there's Harula. Edu Villa's going to be in the mix as well, but he's a lap down. Then you've got Nielsen and Sanfilippo, who might just chase down this one, and behind staying Tyson Meyer through that section. Just could not get the power down there, as he had a huge wiggle trying to deal with the massive amounts of torque that goes through this. They go through as Chantal now trying to find a way through on McLeod, trying to get this one done. Still not quite there. No, mistake, and Chantal misses the wall, but McLeod gets the position straight back again.
Yeah, certainly that was a big moment for Chantal. Lucky not to put it in the wall, but McLeod relishing back at the opportunity of a mistake from Chantal, and I believe there was a battle just further back as well between Strutinsky and Kowalski, who has actually gotten by the car of Strutinsky for top 10 position.
Well, that's going to be key. And also, Jaden Thurlow is still out there at the moment. Lap 32 of this race. Dare I say this, Cam? Jaden Thurlow's going for a one-stop.
I'd hazard a guess that he probably is, based on how long he's been running. He's going to have to be careful that those tyres don't drop off too much from him. He's doing 16 mid 16s though, so he's not doing it too bad. But I do believe that we've had a spin from Costa.
Costa. Yeah, down at turn 4, so he gets off of that section and the vehicle goes whoopsie-daisy, finds the grass and will have to try and get himself going again. Costa pushing a little bit too hard, 19th position, 1 lap down at this point in time, and that is not helping his cause at the moment, which is try and get up as high as possible in this race. So that's going to be key. We'll get you an updated positions here just after the pit stop cycle goes through for Jaden Thurlow, who of course is the last driver to come down in and try and make that stop. But this is a really interesting race at the moment, because you've got likes of Usher and Serpa and McLeod and Chantal and Hoffman, and you put as well as that as well, all within 8 seconds. You add Piotrowski into the mix. You've got 6 drivers here split by 10 seconds at the front of the pack.
Yeah, so everybody's really, really close at the moment, and it's all really heated. Everybody's just pushing so hard that they possibly can, and just seen that the car of Jane Thurlow is actually matching the times of Mark Usher at the moment.
Quicker.
So clearly actually quicker even, so plenty of pace in that car by the looks of it, despite the old tyres.
Well, that just tells you all you need to know. Jaden Thurlow is absolutely rocking, and if Mark Usher needs to make a second stop, and we expect that he will, this is really going to put Thurlow in the mix. He's got 13 seconds of a margin to try and hold on to. Now, this is going to be key for the way this race is going to be won. Is this going to be a strategy call race win for Jaden Thurlow, who started 13th on the grid, mind you? It might be that the crazy strategy gets there at the end, and we've seen some crazy strategies go along with sim racing. My favourite of those, of course, Cam, being the one tyre call by Coanda at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, that was one of the strangest strategy calls you'll ever see in any sort of racing, taking one single tyre out of 4 at Brands Hatch. It's a really strange circuit, obviously more loaded on the left-hand side, but it seemed to work. So, yeah, there'll be some big head-scratching if Jaden can pull this off and take the win with a one-stopper.
Well, we will count our chickens for the moment, because, of course, we're not even at the halfway stage. That comes in a couple of laps' time, ladies and gentlemen, here on SimSpeed TV. And, of course, some brilliant sim racing coming up just a little bit on in terms of what SimSpeed's able to do. Of course, you can catch all the brilliant stuff that comes along from us, as well as on the iRacing Esports Network, as well as the likes of, say, Monday Night V8s will come along and be really good. You've got your NASCAR series, which has been absolutely fantastic to watch. The likes of Ryan Jones cover that sort of series, but some brilliant stuff going on out there all across the sim racing sphere. Make sure that you give it that love. Serpa is around down at turn 7.
Yeah, he is, and he's actually just missed the wall, luckily, despite getting so close, and it was all on his own, just getting a little bit too eager on the gas, and I think the inside curb may have actually unsettled the car a little bit.
It certainly did, and he struggled through the first part of that section, and then the second didn't help either. He's now behind Piotrowski in 8th place, so that is a really big hurt. And now suddenly this race becomes different. In is Jan Stratinsky here for another stop, so I wonder, has something actually happened here to Jan Stratinsky? It did look like he was going to be in a good position, but ultimately now he's miles back down the field.
Yeah, looks like he does have front wing damage, so I wonder if he has hit the wall somewhere or made a mistake. Yeah, it's really strange. He hasn't done anything in the past 2 laps or so.
That's really weird. So Jan Stratinsky there back down in 18th place. He's a lap down. He's got a lot of work to do over the course of this one. Got to keep giving my props, though, to these drivers who are having an absolutely sterling job of the way this race is being run. Jaden Thurlow took 4:10 out of Mark Usher over the last 2 laps. Oh, Thurlow having big issues there with Nyok Khan Win down at the hairpin. Doesn't make contact, but very nearly did.
Yeah, really, really unfortunate there for Thurlow. That's going to cost him a little bit of time, but very lucky to get away with no issues there. And I've actually just gone back and had a look at what happened to Strutinsky. Had contact with Not Khan Win as well at the 3rd chicane, so really unfortunate there for Strutinsky to get damage, possibly some underlying damage that was going on in the later laps, but nevertheless, Chantal really starting to pressure the back of McLeod here, and McLeod's having to deal with traffic as well.
Strutinsky is trying to get by, so Chantal trying to get in the mix here in order to make this move, and ultimately not quite close enough to get that one done just yet. Looking towards turn number 1 as the place where the next move is going to be key. Again, not quite in position. That gap was up over a second as they headed through opening section of road through that bit at the moment. It's worth noting as well, David Cudmore has come in and made his second stop of the day.
Yeah, he actually has, which is really early on actually compared to when he did make his first stop. So wondering the reasoning for that, although he did stop quite early, so possibly going to be running this second stint quite longer. He has a lot of laps to get up through those, so possibly going to run out of tyre if he's not careful.
Yeah, could very easily run out of tyre, so this is going to be crucial. Oh, Jan Hoffman having to deal with Stratinsky there. That was very dangerous. He's got to also motor as Hoffman because Blake Haswell has refused to let go outside of 2 seconds. That has been crucial in terms of the way that this race has been run. So that's going to be key for this, as you've got Hoffman and Haswell and Piotrowski in there as well. Haswell and Hoffman, these are going to be drivers fighting for what is going to be 6th, 7th, top 10 in the championship.
Yeah, certainly. It's all going to be about points at the end of the day, especially with the drop round starting to come into effect like we talked about. So you're really going to be all just getting those points, consistent finishes, and really putting yourself in a good position.
Well, that good position is going to have to be needed from quite a few drivers. This has been a very interesting first half to this race. Jaden Thurlow leads this one, but he is yet to make a pit stop. He's got 13.2 seconds over Mark Usher in 2nd position overall. Clayton McLeod finds himself in 3rd with Stefan Chantal in 4th. Jan Hoffman is 5th with Blake Haswell in 6th. Then it's Stefan Piotrowski in 7th. Jose Serpa, after his spin, is dropped down into 8th. A quiet race so far for Ray Griffioen. He's in 9th position, and it is Patrick Kowalski who rounds out the top 10 at the moment, having a very good run. Other notable mentions right now is this battle for 12th, because Tyson Meyer has the very fast Danilo Sanfilippo behind him.
That's recovering after what happened to him with his brother on lap 1, but nearly inside the top 10 at the moment. So doing a fantastic job of recovering with the pace that he's got. 16.5, pretty much matching, if not quicker, than the cars of Mark Usher, Clayton McLeod, and Chantal, who are all running very quick times at the moment. So Tyson really going to be coming under a lot of pressure here from Danilo. Danilo will not waste any time trying to get on by.
Absolutely not. This is what Danilo has been so good at doing. He picks up his target, studies, he lines up the sight, and it's a surefire overtake. That's how Danilo Sanfilippo goes, but he locks up the tyres there, going into the hairpin. He was too heavy with the brakes, and that wasn't going to help. Behind that as well, Andreas Nielsen here in 15th, looking to try and get past the Finnish driver, Juna Harjula, in 14th. This is going to be a key little battle going on. Andreas Nielsen trying to find a way back into this race, and at the moment here, Harjula very much the equal.
Yes, certainly. Harjula's doing a fantastic job just holding on, but Nielsen getting a massively good run there, but not quite able to get it.
Sanfilippo's hit the wall of champion.
He actually has, and damaged that front wing. He's gone in a bit too quick and just, he ended up having to overcorrect the car and just ended up tapping that wall. It's possibly big damage to that right front. If he's lucky enough, it's only just wing damage, but that's going to really hurt him.
It certainly is, but the race leader is down on pit lane. This is Jaden Thurlow, who's coming in for what should be his one and only stop. Double take there slightly as he tried to find his marks. He was a little early on the line as he went on through, and his pit box is right on that start-finish line, so he will get his fuel, he'll get himself going, and he's only got to do 32 laps on his final stint to get himself going. There were 39 brilliant works get himself going. So now what can Jaden Thurlow do as he will come out just ahead of Ray Griffioen? He's got to be up to speed quick. Griffioen is now going to have to play that patience game with a driver on a one stop.
Yes, certainly, and those tyres are really going to start to feel a bit second hand for the car of Jaden Thurlow as the race goes on, and Ray Griffioen looking to the inside but not going to get the move done, but running wide is Jaden Thurlow trying to get a little bit of room in case there was a move, but nevertheless holding on to the position for the time being. But Thurlow with a massive run here up to the third chicane, going to look at the inside, an easy move done.
Well, you can't afford to get drawn into these battles, Jaden, if you want to think about race victories, and this is going to be key in terms of the way this race is run. There's also the other thing that's going to be eating away at his time, and that is that second pit stop, because, of course, this pit stop is largely going to be dependent on the fuel. Tyres take an X amount of time. We know that they can get them off and off, and on and off, sorry, in about 3 seconds. The key here, Cam, is going to be that fuel, because these drivers who are going to make that second stop, they are going to be with fuel numbers which are going to be a little bit less than what they had to do in that opening stop.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be really all about maximising this current stint, try and build a gap or close the gap down, and then using that final stop to absolutely push it as hard as you possibly can in qualifying laps with a nice light car, nice good tyres, and really start to put the hammer down and get some moves done.
And this is also going to be issued for the likes of, say, Jaden Thurlow, because he's going to have the heaviest car in this field, and he'll be struggling on fuel for probably the first 10 laps of his stint compared to others.
Yeah, certainly. He's going to have a nice, heavy car with a lot of fuel through to the end of the race from here. But Sanfilippo is in pit lane, so disaster for the car of Danilo, and he's not going to be happy whatsoever.
Third stop of his race, and he'll probably have to fill this up and get to the end here the best that he can. He will drop an entire lap in terms of this race. He may fall behind the likes of Juan Costa, who's about to go through. No, he won't. There goes Juan Costa around just like that, and I'm going to have to apologise to Juan Costa here, because that is what I'd call a curse, and that would have what this is also what I would call race over for Juan Costa.
Yeah, it looks like it. He has indeed towed back to pit lane and left, so not the best way to end the race for Juan Costa, but Piotrowski has been just struggling there and holding up Danilo Sanfilippo on the exit. Non-Khan win in at the wall as well, I think. Yes, indeed, out of the first turn there.
Yeah, done it all on his own, so he's able to keep going. I wonder how much suspension damage there is. Of course, these vehicles open wheel. The suspension is very liable to get damaged, and of course, that is the toughest part to repair of the vehicle, is if you get almost the slightest amount of suspension damage, the car is not safe for regulation to go through. And oh, that's brave going from Jose Serpa to get around both two-lap vehicles at the same time. He played thread the needle very nicely.
Yeah, he certainly did, but had to sort of go through the middle between the two cars and end up getting by. It was a bit of a risky move, but got it done regardless.
That was key in terms of the way this race was run. Battle is on for second position. Clayton McLeod, Stefan Chantal going at it together. Chantal, at the moment, the Canadian, finding himself on home territory, trying to get past Clayton McLeod. Car number 5, also from Club Canada. So the two Canadians, second and third, looking like they're going to try and get themselves going past together. They've got to chase down Mark Usher, but they lost a little bit of time. In fact, Chantal was quicker than Mark Usher that last time by. The gap is 3.7 seconds here at the front of this field.
Yes, certainly. It was 2:10.
Oh, Thurlow's in again.
Quicker as Thurlow's in again.
What has happened to Jaden Thurlow as he has to come down in one more time down the lane? I wonder if he hit the wall coming out of turn 4. That's the only place I really think that he's had himself any issues. He hasn't. So where has this gone wrong for Jaden Thurlow and his race? And the answer is, I do not know.
Yeah, I certainly don't either. I do wonder if he has just hit the pit limiter slightly early. No, he actually hasn't. So, yeah, really weird. He must have hit the wall somewhere, because his last 2 laps haven't counted.
Yeah, he must have done. So that would be damage, and that would have to be repairable damage. Go through, and it would be speeding out of the pit lane might be the case, because those lap times may not count if he does have himself the black flag on him for that. So that could be the case. He's had to come down in and get himself going, as it sounds like at the moment everything going on for Blake Haswell as well, because he's had to go through on David Cudmore to stay in contact with Jan Hoffman. This race is now firmly in the hands of, can anybody catch Mark Usher?
Yeah, certainly. Now with Jaden Thurlow having to make that extra stop, it is very much all about who can catch Mark Usher, but we see no clear signs of that happening anytime soon. But Chantal really pushing hard at the moment, and Clayton McLeod actually quicker than Mark Usher that last time by as well.
Yeah, that was a 1:16.009, so a 009 for Clayton McLeod. It was an 0:37 going for Mark Usher. So a Lancia clearly not as quick as that 009 spy vehicle, it seems, at this point in time. So for the time being anyway, that's a minimal gain going through that lap, but you can see just how drivers have been so aggressive as we just caught that one here, and this is a Motum simulation replay.
It certainly is indeed. Andreas Nelson coming through the first complex and very lucky to get away with just saving that in turn one. Got on the power a little bit too early and ended up spinning the wheels up, but great save nevertheless.
Oh, and look at these times coming in. That's a 15.7 from Stefan Chantal. A magical lap time. And in fact, that puts it fastest lap of the race, surely, for Stefan Chantal, who is absolutely motoring to try and push Clayton McLeod up forward. These two are working incredibly hard to bring down that gap to Mark Usher. They've got themselves, though, only about 26, 27 laps, though, left to go. This is a tough and tall order to catch a man who has been uncatchable bar the opening round of the championship.
Certainly, Marcus has put on a dominant performance apart from that first round where he had that era of running out of fuel and then having to retire. So he's definitely showing his dominance in these last few rounds with the way that he's been driving. And it would not surprise me if he clean sweeps the rest of the season. But nevertheless, Shane
Wall of Champions, and that was a square-on collision with the Wall of Champions right behind Jaden Thurlow. Caught the curb, missed out on entry apex, and he's hit the tyres hard. And Tamas Shane, who was a lap down in 20th position, somehow able to keep going, but I reckon he'll have to come down in and have another stop.
Yeah, I'd say so based on the condition of that front wing. I've also just seen Nilsson leave pit lane for his second stop as well.
Yes, so he's had a second stop, and he's going to come out right in the middle of both Jan Hoffman and Blake Haswell. Haswell gets through that without any issues at all. So Andreas Nilsson deciding his stop's there and done. He'll have 25 laps to get himself home to the end of this race. And crucially, keep an eye on Clayton McLeod's times in second position. A 1:15.8 was good enough to close 3/10. The gap now, 3.2. Mark Usher will be looking at that black box relative and thinking, oh no, they're catching.
Yeah, really odd that he's actually not really ending up losing time actually at the moment. Two cars are Clayton McLeod and Stephen Chantal. Do we have to wonder if he's maybe just backing it off a little bit just to save the tyres a little bit and just keep his head cool? But nevertheless, Clayton McLeod really pushing on to try and close this gap as best as he can.
Well, he would have been spooked by the fact that Jaden Thurlow was able to go quicker, going 35 laps on the tyres. So that might be something that's just in the back of the mind as they go through. Look at now how Blake Haswell closes in, gets the gap down to about 2 car lengths, struggles with a dirty air effect though through the final chicane, could not get that car narrow through that section. McLeod goes purple though. What a lap, 1:15.6. He took a whole second out of Mark Usher. The gap is 2.3 and there's traffic for Mark Usher.
Mark Usher having to deal with some more lap traffic now. Again, the car of Thomas Shane, who has still yet to pit, and Mark Usher ran a little bit deep there as well, locking up the inside and then struggling for power down traction. So starting to make some mistakes as Mark Usher, and this is going to help Clayton McLeod really close that gap down and even bring Chantal into this possibly.
Well, it's two Canadians on their track trying to chase down the Englishman, Mark Usher, and it's down to 1.6 seconds now. And Tamas Shane is going to have to get out to the way. PD and Q on the brakes here into the right-hand hairpin, and ultimately this is going to cost a little bit, but Shane knows on this big long straight he's got ample time to get out of the way of Clayton McLeod, who picks up all of the draft. He'll eat it up. He'll go to the inside and makes the move sorted there on the lap traffic. So now Mark Usher probably has to think about running here. If he's not thinking about running, in comes Stefan Chantal along with Tamas Shane, and this is a big stop, a big call from Tamas Shane, Stefan Chantal even to come in first.
Yes, certainly. It's a very, very big call, and he's going to try to obviously get a bit of clean air so he can push on hard on his own. But the real question is, where is he going to come out? He's only just entering his box now, so going to be fascinating to see where he comes out in relation to everybody else.
Well, this is key. Ray Griffoen also comes in. Shane coming out of his box and will crucially still be ahead of Stefan Chantal when they get themselves going again. Kowalski comes in from 9th position on the road as well, as the racing does continue here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with Marc Usher leading this race by 1.6 seconds, and it is now a frail margin at the front. Off the road. He's off into the wall out of the third chicane. Jan Hoffmann is in all sorts of trouble, does it all on his own. Haswell takes a big bite out of his front right, and Jan Hoffmann, his race, which was looking on and set for fourth position, is now over.
Yeah, very much so. Really unfortunate. Hoffman's is looking very strong all race long, and unfortunate for Haswell as well. He's going to be carrying quite a bit of right front wing damage as well, so not going to be too ideal for Haswell. That's going to hurt him in the pit stop. You have to really start to think about pitting here. He's going to lose too much time, especially to the car. Pietrowski, who's right behind him now.
Well, this is going to be key. Jan Hoffmann surely diving down in. He's only doing 240 on the straight, so he'll be nice and easy for the box. Jose Serpa also comes down in and makes his stop, so that's going to be key for the long and short of this race. Crucially, Stefan Chantal right now finds himself in that, I'd say, vacuum of space at this point in time. He's got away from Ray Griffith-Owen, but finds himself now in lap traffic central, because there's Tamas Shane, there's Edu Villa. He's got to get past both of them, and then Jan Stratinsky as well.
Yes, certainly. It's a number of cars to get on by that Chantal does, but nevertheless, he's got shown plenty of place so far in this race.
Well, look at this. Blake Haswell, after having that contact with Jan Hoffmann, here is Stefan Pietrowski trying to find a way through. And we'll see how Stefan does here on this one. He's going to have superior overspeed to the right-hand side. It's 307 against 293. 14K, he says, I go through. Oh, that was brave from Haswell. Takes the big line down onto pit lane. That was Commitment Plus, the subscription service to Commitment.
Certainly, he was very, very committed. There was Haswell getting into pit lane, very close to nearly running into the back end of it, Stefan Pietrowski, but nevertheless managed to get into pit lane nice and committed. But we'll see where he comes out. Remember, he's got to change that front wing, so he's going to drop down the water quite a bit. I imagine he's going to come out somewhere in the reaches of the top 10, if not just behind. And also just notice, Tyson Myers up for the top 10 here as well.
He certainly is, after starting 27th. This is going to be a great result here for Quirketice, who's just stayed out of trouble and has had a very, very strong race here today. You have to give him some credit to turn up and really perform. Haswell's going to come out here side by side with him actually through this section, in fact just ahead, so Blake Haswell gets going. It's also worth noting here that Jan Hoffmann has been on pit lane for forever and a year, and this is pretty much going to be the end of Jan Hoffmann's race as John Pat Kelly pits.
Yeah, certainly it will be John Pat Kelly coming into pit lane. I've just seen that Haswell's come out a little bit behind the car of Stefan Chantal, so hasn't lost out too much, but he's got Tyson Meyer all over his back end at the moment, and Meyer going to look to the outside of the chicane, but going to think better of it. Haswell defends, runs a little bit deep. That's going to allow Meyer to go on by.
Cold tyres, heavy fuel. There's no reason to fight in that scenario there. Blake Haswell has to give it up then, and that was a pass for position on the road for Quirketice Tyson Meyer, and he gets the Geodesic car straight through exactly the way that he would want it to, but there is still some brilliant racing to come at the end of this. Worth noting, McLeod lost 6/10 that last time by to Marc Usher. The main reason for that was the traffic of Steve Fiori. He had no luck, did Clayton McLeod. He caught the dirty air for the majority of that, what I would call left-hand side of the circuit, or the first and second sectors, that really cost him the time.
Yeah, certainly it will have traffic, but Tyson Meyer into pit lane now to do his secondary stop, and really busy at the moment. Pietrowski and also Serpa is fighting with the car of just
in comes McLeod. This is big. Sorry to cut your thunder. This is big. Clayton McLeod is going to pit in on lap 50. He only went 20 laps on that stint. Remember, he's splitting this one 30-20-20. So now Clayton McLeod, what does he have up his back pocket? And has Stefan Chantal negotiated the traffic well and got the overcut that he so very badly needed? McLeod up on the jacks, down on the jacks. The likes of San Filippo makes their way through. Service is complete. We'll go through side by side. We're seeing up on screen as well as Harjala and Serpa going at it right now. And that's Ayala making the way through. Out of the pits comes Clayton McLeod, and he is in an absolute world. Stratinsky is in a world of hurt, though. He's hit the wall coming out to the final corner. Not the wall of champions, he hit the other one.
It's not what you want to be doing. Is Stratinsky's just taken, he's actually not taking any, just lost it on his own and ended up hitting the concrete. That's going to be big damage for Stratinsky, unfortunately. But Clayton McLeod has come out in some nice clean air at the moment. Few lap cars just ahead of him, but nevertheless, good position to be in, especially when he's trying to hunt down the car of Mark Usher, who's going to be on older tyres now.
He is, but he is staying out, and this is key. Mark Usher's going to try and utilise it as much as he can. Knows his rivals behind have pitted. Will know as well that Stefan Chantal has dropped back by a fair bit as well. So Mark Usher now has got to push as the sun starts to set here at this magical circuit. Gilles Villeneuve in sim time, coming up to 10-7 at this point in time. And Mark Usher knows this track is only getting colder and colder. It will drop the 2 degrees here at the moment. But look at Serpa again, all over Una Hayala, trying to get up into 11th place on the road and still not finding the overtake that is so very badly needed to get himself one more. Nielsen's in there, as is Cudmore. 4-car scrap for just outside the top 10.
Yeah, everybody's starting to close up now to the car of Hayala, and Serpa is trying to find a way past the car of Hayala, but just can't quite get it done. Very close, and then there's contact between the two of them, and more contact.
More contact, both of them go to the inside. Nielsen and Cudmore say, cookies! That's both of ours as they go through. So that's Hayala and also Serpa struggling. Through will go Robert Plumley there to pick up a little bit, as will John Pat Kelly try and pick it up. Here's a replay brought to you by Motum Simulations. You can see contact on entry, more contact, gets stuck there, pretty much pushing by the rear wheel, and there's no way to look around it there. Jose Serpa was too aggressive.
Yes, certainly was. Just a little bit too aggressive, and then ending up locking wheels when they make contact. So really unfortunate for Serpa there, but Usher is into the pit lane up on the jacks now, so we'll see where he comes out in relation to everybody else. McLeod coming through the final chicane now, Usher away. McLeod down the front straight. He's going to jump
huge
quite
gap.
a bit.
That's a huge gap. Mark Usher with the overcut has got himself the margin there. Those 2 laps are crucial, and what's more crucial is McLeod has 1, 2, 3, 4 cars fighting in front, and this is huge at the moment because there's Plumley and co that's going to be there, and this is going to be a tough challenge. Plumley's already dealt with by McLeod, but Serpa and John Pat Kelly and Una Hayala all having this scrap. Mark Usher now just needs to find himself 17 nice clean laps, and the race is his.
Yes, certainly, and remember that Hayala and also Serpa are carrying a little bit of damage as well to the front wing, so it's going to slow them up just that little bit more and cause possible issues for McLeod. He's getting really pushing hard here, and you can see the car of John Pat Kelly is also trying to find a way past Hayala, who's carrying a little bit of damage, so McLeod really getting held up here.
He is, and now Serpa's going to have to let this one go. Here for McLeod, who'll get the blue flags waving, and he's not going to try and lift off too much. Serpa feels he has the pace. He was up with these drivers a little bit earlier on. Look at John Pat Kelly go, though. He's going to go to the inside. He picks that one up. Fantastic on Hayala, who comes down in onto pit lane. So that would have been a shot. John Pat Kelly, no run off for the exit, and this is well dispatched then by Clayton McLeod. What's the gap as they cross the line? The gap at the moment between these two is 4 seconds. One driver yet to stop, expected to stop, is Stefan Piotrowski.
Yeah, Piotrowski's been out there for quite some time now to try and get a bit of clean air for himself to possibly jump the drivers ahead of him, but nevertheless he's pushing on as hard as he possibly can, and Nielsen's in the wall, I've just seen.
Oh no, so Andreas Nielsen finds the wall. This is coming through turn 7, so he's come out of the right hander. This is exactly where Serpa had his moment, and straight around it goes. Can he save it? It's a nice little tap though into the Armco, so he should get away with that one.
Should do, but possibly minor aero damage. Slow-mo locking the car up before just brushing the Armco on the inside, and might have just got away with that, might have just not. Who knows? It'll be keep an eye on it and see where he ends up. But Piotrowski still continues on for another lap.
Well, this is going to be something very interesting. Piotrowski came down in on the end of lap 28, the start of lap 29. I doubt he has the fuel to go 41 laps on a stint. And he also has to look at, say, the driver who stayed out longest in that opening stint, that being Jaden Thurlow. Thurlow went 38 laps on a stint, so if he can go 3 laps longer than Jaden Thurlow can, Piotrowski has a chance, but the question is fuel, and I don't think that's going to be a number which I think he can hit.
Certainly, I don't think he's going to have enough fuel to end up getting to the end, but regardless, he's going to try and use as much as he possibly can. Remember, he's only going to be a short stop, so he's got to be careful here that he doesn't end up spending too long in a pit lane as well, and you want to try and set it up so you can take tyres and end up actually not losing any time once they're done by having the same amount of fuel taken.
Exactly, that could be key. It may even be a case where the tyres are still feeling like they're good and they are cured tyres, so to speak. They've been worn in and they are pretty much at a level where grip levels don't really matter, and that might be the case where he even doesn't take tyres. He just takes a little bit of a splash and dash on the fuel and just runs away and tries to get his stop nice and neatly done. But for the time being, though, this has been a very, very tough race, and this is going to be something that is quite apropos, which happened 1 week ago and it's going to happen again. Danilo Sanfilippo is looking right now at Mark Usher here, but this time, 1 week ago, it was Marco who was getting lapped. This time, it's Danilo.
Yes, certainly, and Danilo will be seeing himself being licked and losing a little bit of headspace, unfortunately, after not having the best of runs today with obviously that contact with his brother on lap 1, but regardless, he'll be trying to just recover some more points after having that contact and just hoping that this ends up being his worst result of the season.
Well, that could be the case. They've got 4 drop rounds, remember, and that's going to be crucial. Battle is on, out on track. Patrick Kowalski trying to chase down Jaden Thurlow here at the moment. This is for 7th and 8th position on the road right now. They're doing 1:17s each as they went on through, and at the moment they are closing Ray Griffioen at a rate of 0.6 of a second each lap. The gap is 8.3 seconds between Griffioen and Thurlow. I don't think they'll catch him by the end of this race, but surely right now in comes Piotrowski then to make his stop. We knew he wasn't going to be able to make it to the end, but this needs to be a nice and quick one here. He'll be looking to try and jump in around Chantal and Haswell. This could be a chance for 4th position. Mark Usher takes the race lead. Here's the splash and here's the dash.
On the jacks, Piotrowski down off the jacks, and straight away, once he dropped, he was away. So clearly timed that to perfection to take 4 tyres and enough fuel. Chantal's just going to jump him, although Piotrowski's just going to actually come at a genuine. So very, very nice strategy call there by Piotrowski to get ahead of both of them.
Yeah, that's key, and that's for the podium as well as the goes on through there, and he gets himself there working on these cold tyres that are new, and they're going to be tough to deal with right now. You've got the likes of Chantal going through, and I think right now, side by side, they're going to be. This is going to be scary here because there are technical issues at play here as they look to go on together. Piotrowski at the moment just about dealing with it through this section of road, but Chantal's having a nightmare trying to discern where one Mr. Piotrowski is.
Yeah, Piotrowski is not doing too well, and Gilles actually beached his car on the corner.
Got away with it.
At the final corner, he's hit the wall and lost his front wing at the Wall of Champions.
Well, we'll get a replay here, brought to you by Motum Simulation, and this was tough. He got himself into the Wall of Champions, so in a race series somewhere, someday, it won't be this day, he will become a champion. That much we can discern. Here's Giori into the final corner then, gets himself, loses the back end immediately, hits the wall, tries to get himself back going as he looks to stop it, but he finds himself on the tyres. Nope, I can't go forward. I'm going to have to go back again. And ultimately decides going back again. I will try and find myself a way through. Back live to pictures, though. Piotrowski has just about lost the position now. Stefan Chantal for the podium. That one done into turn number 1. A good run around the outside. Chantal makes it 2 Canadians on the podium.
Great move by Chantal to put himself back on the podium. Piotrowski obviously newer tyres and not a lot of fuel as well, so he might be able to just come back at him later on in the stint, but nevertheless, great move by Chantal to put 2 Canadians, like you said, on the podium at their own track.
Yeah, and that's going to be crucial for these two. They know that they're going to be very happy with the result if it stays as it does like this. Piotrowski struggling a little bit, getting those tyres up to 10th because Chantal has romped away from him at the moment. And the good news is he's got 18 seconds to Blake as well. He does not have to worry about him at all at this point in time. Gap at the front of this field is 4.3 seconds. Clayton McLeod is not giving this one up. Mark Usher's still having to race hard here for everything he's got, and he's not going to get much help here from Danilo Sanfilippo.
Yeah, he certainly isn't going to have much help from Danilo to try and get on by. You have to remember that Danilo is fighting for the championship as well. There's a replay on screen count of Stephen Chantal, and that was Fiore nearly running into the back. Chantal would have seen that car coming in a bit, probably, maybe did actually make contact, so that would be very, very close if he didn't.
Well, if he had a front wing, I think there'd be no Stephen Chantal car cam.
Very true. He actually probably wouldn't have had that front wing anymore if he did have one, so you're very lucky.
And there's the move. Danilo Sanfilippo placed a lap down by Mark Usher in a very symbolic way that this championship has gone for the last two ones through this one as they go through. As Tyson Meyer, Quirk, is now going the fastest of anybody at the moment. 1:16.3 was the fastest last time by, and he has himself bit between his teeth because he's 1.2 seconds a lap quicker than Patrick Kowalski, who's 8 seconds down the road and trying to chase down Thurlow as well.
Yeah, certainly. Tyson's doing a fantastic job at the moment, putting in some solid laps at the current time to put himself right there with the fastest lap on the track at the moment. But yeah, a couple of cars that are still just ahead of him. If you can keep the pace up, you might be able to do it, but running out of laps and nearly at 10 to go.
Nearly at 10 to go. The gap 4 seconds now at the front of the field, and this is key for Clayton McLeod. He's got to find that pace that he found earlier on in that second stint to try and chase down Mark Usher. Remember, older and longer is Clayton McLeod going. He may have a slight advantage by doing so, but he's got two vehicles to get by, Andreas Nielsen and Danilo Sanfilippo, so we'll see how that plays out in the long and the short. It's got to be, Cam, 0.4 of a second every lap, and that is a very tall order, but sometimes they come in chunks, and they come in chunks of a second.
Certainly, it's a bit of a tall order, especially with the strategies that have been going on around him, but nevertheless, if we can just keep pushing on, just keep those consistent nice laps coming in, he might be able to just take advantage of the mistakes from others around him.
Well, that very much could be the case. Gap now as they cross the line. That's 3 more tenths gone. 10 laps to go. 3.7 seconds the margin. And Clayton McLeod on 16.1. That's the improvement that he needed to find. Mark Usher only on a 16.5. And he got very close then, did Mark Usher. Turn 4 replay on screen.
Yeah, you can just see Andreas Nielsen trying to get on by the car of Danilo Sanfilippo, and you could just see Danilo getting really wide, a bit sideways as well, and just holding on to it. But Andreas, unfortunately, nearly losing it himself and having to save the car. Fantastic job saving it, but unfortunate.
Yeah, second time that's happened here for Andreas Nielsen. He saved it as well, and McLeod was not close enough there to get past him, so that's good. 14th, 15th battle going on. Cudmore and Hyla at the moment. They are nose to and tail at this point in time, and Hyla gets a very good run there, heading through turn 4. He's able to stretch the margin just a little bit.
Yeah, he certainly is, and that's what he's going to want to do. He's going to stretch that margin just as much as he possibly can to keep the advantage to himself. But nevertheless, that'll going on at the moment. Really starting to heat up further back between car, I believe, Cudmore, who's trying everything he possibly can to find a way past the car of Hyla.
Yeah, he's trying, and he's trying and trying and trying, and he's just not finding Cudmore on the brakes. They both take the wide line through the hairpin, try and pick up the run off of the exit now, and here comes the chance for Cudmore, using the draft to his advantage. He's got Burlow there with Kowalski also in the mix, and they are both going to try and want to get through as quickly as they can. On the brakes they go, right, left, piff, paff, they will come through, and Cudmore just not getting enough of a run there through that section. Just got to carry a bit more mid-apex speed if he wants to get himself that run and that overtake. He's very late on the brakes as David Cudmore.
was pushing as hard as he possibly can without putting himself into any strife at the moment to try and find a way past Halo, but Halo's done a fantastic job at defending David Cudmore and really just can't seem to do anything about it. This Cudmore, even though he's doing everything he can, strong on the brakes, but then just can't get the power down.
Yeah, that seems to be the case at the moment. Just can't get the power down, cannot deal with the way that he needs to. He's driving very much in terms of a driving style, a bit like Michael Schumacher in the sense that Schumacher was very good on entry as Hyler ultimately gets a good run off of the exit, driving maybe a little bit like Mika Hakkinen at this point in time as they hit the brakes now. Traffic becoming a big key factor of this as they'll have to let Thurlow go, and Cudmore sees that the battle is interrupted here by a driver who could have had himself a shot at race victory, but ultimately does not find that position at the moment as they all fly on by.
Yeah, certainly will fly on by, but nevertheless, trying everything they possibly can, Cudmore, to try and catch that gap to Hyler, but obviously the car of Thurlow making it a little bit difficult after ending up in between the two.
I want to keep an eye out here on Blake Haswell's times at the moment. His last 3 laps have been a 17.4, a 17 flat, and an 18.1. If you compare that to Ray Griffioen, who's done a 16.9, a 17.2, and a 17 flat, that gap, which is 6 seconds right now, with 7 laps to go, looks like it is being threatened.
Yeah, it certainly does, and you're really going to have to keep an eye on that because he's going to have to try everything he possibly can if he's going to end up getting past him. While the laps are counting down, it's really just going to be about making sure he doesn't lose too much time as the laps start to count down.
Yes, and that is going to be the key here. These laps are going to go thick and fast, and you do not have long to go and get these positions that you need. And what's also crucial is that Danilo Sanfilippo now drops outside of the top 10. He's lost the position to Andreas Nielsen by going straight on at the final chicane. He looked to hit the brakes. He got the grass on entry to the corner and has to take the uber long 4-second slowdown penalty to get himself back to going again.
Yeah, and that slowdown is very, very long as Cudmore makes a move on the car of, I believe that was Hyler. So job done finally for Cudmore to get that position back and move on through to try hunt down the cars ahead of him.
Yeah, that was brilliant work there as Hyler was off the apex, off the racing line, and that has cost him the chance of getting that one back. The race lead battle, though, is going the other way now for Clayton McLeod. It's up at 4.3 seconds. Mark Usher has got the margin that he needs now. He can sit and he can wait on it, and he'll even steal a little bit of draft from a very, very slow Nyok Khan Win, who is now 4 laps down in this race, doing an average of 1 minute 25 lap time. So he is in all sorts of hurt at this moment in time, but there is still a long way to go here for some of these drivers who have to really work hard at gaining those few positions which become so vital in these fights. That extra 1 place means so much, but you can't really risk too much. There's iRacing and safety rating on the line, remember.
The third and fourth is on at the moment between the car of Piotrowski and Chantal. Piotrowski really starting to close that gap down to the car of Chantal. 2 things quicker that last time by, but then again, starting to close those laps down in 5.5 laps to go this time by. So really, really all about just making sure if Piotrowski wants to get the move done, he needs to make some more pace.
Well, Piotrowski at the moment is doing 1:15.8. That's some of the fastest laps in this field. It's the fastest of the leaders by far. So now Piotrowski, who's going absolutely like a bat out of hell, knows that he needs more Meatloaf songs if he wants to get himself going over the line and getting himself that podium. He's got it in the sights. Stefan Chantal, he's not clear home and dry at the moment, and I wonder if Chantal really pushed on those tyres to build a gap, and suddenly they're just falling away from him ever so slightly. Piotrowski does not get the best of final chicanes going through. Chantal, 16 flats again going through, and a response from Piotrowski is a 16.6, and suddenly the gap is 2.3 seconds, and Piotrowski on the outside looking in.
Yes, certainly. That's not what you want to be having happen, especially with these laps counting down. You really just got to keep on pushing on regardless. And he's just at the wall as Piotrowski just brushed it. I don't think he got any damage, but that's not what he wants at all.
certainly is. We've got another battle going on, and I'm surprised to say this. It's one for 17th place right now. Robert Plumley's defending from Edu Villa, who has looked like he has had no pace in the car all race long as Edu. But what he does have now, chance for a position, is we got a driver out. Is that Ray Griffioen? Wow. So Ray Griffioen then, from what was 7th place. Was he pushing too hard? Is he hitting himself into the final chicane? Goes through the right. Who was that going slowly there? That was Blake Haswell.
I'm not quite sure what happened to Haswell there. Haswell's got damage, big damage, in fact.
He's hit the wall.
On the exit of the hairpin.
Absolutely, he has. Putting the power down, torque oversteer, and whee! Hits the wall, gets big damage. That promotes Thurlow back up into 5th place. So Haswell has the issue. He goes slow through that section, and then trying to get the aggressive line back on with the rejoin there. And that was Griffioen hitting the wall, and then Shane hit the wall, I believe, a little bit later on from that as well.
Certainly did. So everybody's starting to make mistakes really late in this race, and Haswell's got big damage as well. His left hand down and really struggling to go through left-handers. So Haswell's going to start dropping down the order massively here. Meyer's just gone on by, so starting to really drop back. He's going to drop outside the top 10 at this rate.
He certainly is. He knows that the top 10's a lap down though, and that's Andreas Nielsen. So he may fall a lap down. That's going to be good news, actually, for Blake Haswell. He is limping his way over home, and he knows he's only got 4 laps, maybe 3, if he goes a lap down to Mark Usher right now, who will start 3 laps to go here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve with his 5.5-second margin here at this one. As Tyson Meyer, at the moment, has got himself up now into 7th position, and actually now 6th, because Kowalski now has lost out. Kowalski spinning at turn 2 has cost himself a position. Meyer is up 21 positions. That's a Quirk race if ever I saw one.
Yeah, Quirk's done a fantastic job to actually gain that many positions, and actually there was a really weird spin by Kowalski as well. He actually lost it on the entry, not on the exit where most of the drivers have lost it today. So that's a really odd one, but Sanfilippo charging through the field, still up into P11 on the tail of Andreas Nielsen for P10, so nearly a top 10 at this rate.
Nearly a top 10, but crucially, Nielsen's going to fight for this one. Danilo Sanfilippo needs top 10 finishes. He desperately needs every point he can get to salvage something for the championship. More likely than not, it would be a drop round. He very nearly found the wall, trying to push a bit too hard, and Andreas Nielsen maybe now seeing a sigh of relief go on as Danilo has to work all of that all over again. 2 laps to go now as they cross the line. Some popsicle sticks for you for your ice cream lollies, because here comes Mark Usher, who gets very close to the wall and knows he's only got 2 runs through now to pick up a 3rd straight broadcast win. Nielsen has to splash and dash.
Nielsen coming into pit lane for a splash and dash, unfortunately, due to not taking enough fuel, and that will release Sanfilippo into a top 10 position for the moment, and not going to gain any more positions with the fact that 9th place of Haswell. Well, actually, that said, Haswell's got damage and is sitting in 9th, so possibly going to get 9th here if he can keep this pace up, and if Haswell can struggle too much.
Well, the difference was 8 seconds that last time by. If we can get up on screen what the gap is, it's 11 seconds at the moment. That is going to be caught on the last lap here for Danilo Sanfilippo. Blake Haswell is limping home with not necessarily lethal damage, but enough damage where he cannot drive that car as quick as he wants. Kowalski has gone around as well. He's hit the wall down at the hairpin, after the hairpin actually, through, I would say, the Richard Hampstead corner, turn 11. So Patrick Kowalski now running himself into issues. Everyone's struggling right now. Gap down to 7 seconds now for Sanfilippo to chase. And crucially, in the middle of this, the lead is going to go through. 3rd and 4th, though, on it again. Chantal's had a moment somewhere because Piotrowski has caught himself right back up. Where has this happened all of a sudden for Chantal? He's just been slow, I do believe. So now, a lap to go. 3rd and 4th on for the podium. Danilo Sanfilippo chasing down Blake Haswell. And you've got Mark Usher, who takes the last lap and now surely feels like he's got everything the way that he wants to right now. Piotrowski not close enough in this 3rd place scrap to attack Chantal down at turn 1 and turn 2. He may have to go all the way for 10. Wiggle from Chantal. That's not going to help. Sanfilippo now gap under 5 seconds now. out on track. 1 second now, it is out on track. And Blake Haswell will have to resign himself to defeat, because here comes Danilo Sanfilippo, who is going to steal another position. You can see the difference in speed, and all of a sudden, down to the inside, Danilo Sanfilippo absolutely romps it as he goes through. Piotrowski still in line here with Chantal. Thought about a move at the third chicane, thinks better of it, but now needs a fantastic run to go through. Someone who doesn't know is Mark Usher, who was at the front of the field when the Sanfilippos came together, and now Mark Usher can say he is a 3-time winner straight here on SimSpeed TV. Mark Usher wins at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in a dominating fashion. McLeod in second. The battle for third is side by side. Here comes Piotrowski trying to go around the outside here as they go through. Chantal spins and Piotrowski steals a podium like a thief in the night.
Yeah, great drive by Piotrowski to end up stealing that podium from Chantal on the very last corner, very last lap. And Mark Usher with the fastest lap of the race on that last lap. So great drive there by Mark Usher to lay the gauntlet down with those quick times. But nevertheless, fantastic racing for position. Danilo Sanfilippo will indeed get that position. So 9th place finish for him. He'll be pretty happy with that, all things considered. But nevertheless, everybody else with pretty much coming across the line. It's all been such an amazing race. And what if you say Tyson Wayer's in 6th from 27th on the grid?
Says all you need to know. What could have been for Jaden Thurlow? It's 5th place. He's up 8, but it could have been more. Serpa out of fuel as he comes to the line. Tyson Meyer, what a driver. Driver of the day candidate there with a 6th place finish. And I'm sure with all the fans watching here live with us over on YouTube, on Twitch, anywhere that you can get it, it's been some brilliant racing throughout. But official classified results, they're going to be up on your screen right about now, because Mark Usher picks up the win in 1 hour, 30 minutes and 27 seconds. Wins by 6.9 seconds come the end over Clayton McLeod in second, who was very nearly in a position to influence this race for the race victory. Just a bridge too far. Stefan Piotrowski gets it done on the final corner to get past Stefan Chantal, who spun, avoided the wall of champions. Jaden Thurlow, 2 stops then. He looked like he was destined for a 1-stop race, but it did not work out. He had to come in almost immediately. He could have had a race victory if things went his way. Tyson Meyer, brilliant work from Quirker Ties there as he goes up into 6th place with Patrick Kowalski in 7th. The last finisher on the leading lap was Ray Griffey-Owen, who hit the wall late in 8th position. Danilo Sanfilippo picking up 9th after Blake Haswell also hit the wall late and had to limp it home for a top 10.
Just outside the top 10, John Pat Kelly and Andreas Nielsen, Jose Serpa and David Cudmore in 14th, 15th to Yoon Harjula and Steve Gilroy in 16th, 17th Udi Villa, Robert Plumley in 18th. Nice drive to get 10 places there for Robert. Not can't win, ending up 4 laps down in 19th. Running at the top 20, Thomas Zane, and then the DNFs, Jan Strutinsky, Jan Hoffman, Iwami Costa, Luis Moran, Ruben Moran, Michael Berg, Marco Sanfilippo after that unfortunate incident with his brother, and then Amelia Fernandez rounding out the field.
Certainly does, and what a race that was for an hour and a half. Some big battling went on up and down the order, but Cam, they've got themselves through one of 2 races which have been absolutely fantastic. The gap over the line between John Pat Kelly and Andreas Nielsen, by the way, was just under 0.2 of a second come the end. So great battling between those two. But we head in 1 week's time to the wonderful Nürburgring circuit, and that's going to be crucial just to keep in mind, because that Nürburgring track is going to be absolutely magnificent to race. Cam, what are your thoughts about that Nürburgring circuit? Because that is a medium downforce track, which could be really interesting to see how the setups play.
Yes, certainly. It's going to be quite fascinating to see what happens at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. And yeah, looking forward to it. Always puts on some really good racing usually. So yeah, can't wait and see what happens in terms of different setups, because you might see low downforce, you might see high downforce, you might see medium downforce. It's really going to be quite the fascinating one.
It certainly will. And the Nürburgring, one of the holy grail circuits and one of the circuits that definitely puts itself up at the top. The Nürburgring, of course, the holders of the ADAC Sim Racing Expo. And of course, that Nürburgring track gets a lot of use throughout a brilliant, brilliant weekend of sim racing that normally happens. But a massive thanks to everyone that gets it done here at SimSpeed TV. Firstly, to Motum Simulations, who have been fantastic on the replays as per usual. And of course, to Jay Kennedy, who has been on the cameras here for us today. Of course, Cam Dance there has been on my left-hand side. And I, of course, have been Jake Sperry. But Mark Usher has done absolutely magnificently here today. His win is the 3rd in a row, and he is marching towards a massive championship lead. The Sanfilippo's, well, it seems like the two siblings will have to battle it out between each other and work out their issues quickly, because they know the championship's falling away and away and away some more. We'll see you at the Nürburgring in 1 week's time.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going with the outside, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to
Oh my God! Oh, big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?